will Steph have a greater legacy than even LeBron James?
No, he won't. And I won't make this mistake of exaggerating an individual's greatness based on team success. I wasn't raised that way. That's not the way I threw the ball around the park. That's not the way I was recruited to go to high school. Violation. College, having Thanksgiving at the alum's house. Violation. I was never raised that way. But, getting into the big business of pro sports, we understand that this is a TV show, and many of conversations will spur from what happens on the field, on the court. I look at it this way. You know me, my favorite sport is track. And track is the first sport, and it's the simplest sport. And it always answers all of athletics riddles. Here's the one that solves right here. Watch a team run a relay, and there's one question you will ask everybody. Who won? What did they run in terms of time? And then the real astute, the smart track purist would say, let me see those splits. You know what a split is? Who did what to get them to that position? When you start looking at the splits, LeBron James has run the fastest split of these two. Even though Steph's team will cross the finish line more times with the gold on, who ran the fastest split? No conversation. LeBron James.
Let me just, before y'all...
Oh, we got to say that.
Because you won't believe this, but once upon a time, I ran the 4x100 relay. And sometimes, you know what was more important than the splits?
What?
How you pass that baton.
You ain't lying. Got to get that thing around.
And nobody passes the baton better than Steph.
Great point.
Will Steph's legacy outshine LeBron's?
Well, you're looking at two players that have had an enormous impact on the game of basketball. From an individual standpoint, LeBron James, what he's done athletically and what he's been able to achieve in performing the way he's performed speaks for itself. Steph Curry, on the other hand, you look at his team and what he's been able to do to implement his skill set into a team, which we all seem, for whatever reason, we seem to be able to identify with more than just the great individual talent. I think what Steph Curry has done, he's really transformed the game where at one point in this league, we were an inside-out league, and now we're saying we're an outside-in. So Steph Curry's impact on the game, as you're seeing it now, is really having an impact on the way we teach the game, the way the game is played, but more importantly, how we defend and we view the game. We're looking, Steph Curry did something last night to me was as unique as I've seen. Late in that fourth quarter, he was open from two, and he traveled trying to get back to three.
Yeah.
And no one said anything.
Well, his brother did.
Yeah, because that's the way the game is played now. The analytics has really made this game now to where bigs like Kendrick, all of a sudden now we value small ball, and you're seeing the impact that it's having.
Well, the way this barbershop is played and the way we run it, which one's going to have the greater legacy? You got to pick that. Come on, BJ. This ain't agent talk right here. We over in the barbershop.
I think LeBron James
there
will have because of the individual, we're always looking for the great individual talent, and LeBron James is a standalone player.
Perk?
Okay, so I'm going to take Marcellus' approach, and I'm going to the stat sheet today, okay? So, individually, LeBron James has 32,000 points, 8,000 assists, 8,000 rebounds. Probably is going to be the only player to finish with a 30,000, 10,000, 10,000. He's a three-time champ, three-time final MVP, a four-time MVP, 15-time All-Star, three-time All-Star MVP, 12-time first-team All-NBA, 5-time first-team All-Defensive Team.
That's my baby.
9 times to the finals.
That's my baby.
9 times to the finals. And in 2019, this past year, he had the #1 jersey sale, #1 top shoe sale.
Again.
Every time LeBron James leave a franchise, the next year the franchise is in the lottery. He's the only guy that I've seen. LeBron had coming out of high school, his expectations for him was through the roof. Yeah. He got tattooed on his back, the chosen one, and from the day he stepped into the NBA, he lived up to the expectations. And no knock on Steph Curry, he's doing a great job over there, and they're building a dynasty, and he's like BJ said, he's changed the game. Steph Curry is a phenomenal player. He will go down in the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, we cannot sit up here and say we go decide the legacy between winning championships. Because if that's the case, then that means Robert Ory
No.
was better than Kevin Garnett. Yes, it is, because we're not about to sit up here and say, oh, Robert Ory was better than Charles Barkley because he didn't have rings.
I know.
So we're not about to say winning championships define your legacy. This man is arguably the greatest player when you putting him on the side of Michael Jordan to ever play the game of basketball. So to me, this is apples and oranges, and it's a disrespect to LeBron James in the utmost.
Listen, I heard it. And as a football person, I've heard all this argument. I heard it for all throughout the 2000s, the 2010s, Peyton Manning stats and blah. You could run them all, and 5-time MVP and blah blah blah. And it all sounded good to me. I'm from Indianapolis, and it all, until it got to a point where, like, damn, Brady done won 6 Super Bowls, and for 20 years he has powered that organization and created a culture. And all of a sudden, the debate just quit. It quit coming down to just stats. And Robert Horry and a bunch of other guys ain't in this conversation because they never drove a team. This guy is driving a team, and these accomplishments, winning is what it's all about at the end of the day.
And I think Steph thrives in this system with Golden State.
Yeah.
I think Draymond and Clay make Steph just like Steph makes them. I think they cohesive.
Yeah.
But can you take Steph Curry? You could take Tom Brady and put him on the Dallas Cowboys, and he probably could take the Cowboys to a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl. Can you take Steph Curry and go put him on today's Chicago Bulls and expect high expectations for the Chicago Bulls? No, you could take LeBron James and put him on Chicago Bulls, and they instantly become a playoff and a contender team.
Kendrick, and that's great that you just said that. But I just watched LeBron James show up to Los Angeles. They did not play in April, May. They're not in the playoffs.
Yeah, but listen to this. Before he got hurt, they was a top 5 seed. Before LeBron James got hurt,
and they was 2 games out of 10th place as well.
Yeah.
They was hanging by.
And that's why the barbershop never closes, and it takes so long to get your damn haircut. Because y'all be making up all these arguments.
Listen though, but I'm a fan of Steph, man. I am, man.
It's not disrespectful to have this conversation.
No, it's not. I'm a fan of Steph. What the Golden State Warriors did last night, that was beautiful basketball. I haven't seen that in a while. Beautiful from top to bottom. Steve Kerr needs to get credit for that because he put guys in position to be successful, and I'm not taking nothing from Steph. Steph is a phenomenal player, and he's going to go down in the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, are you going to put Steph on Mount Rushmore?
Absolutely.
Really?
If this continues and he gets to a 5th or 6th title, and just like BJ has said, even more so than Michael Jordan, and I think, I won't say more so because Jordan's impact was incredible. Yeah. But in terms of changing the way we play the game, the way we view the game, everything, Steph Curry has done that. It's his league. But it's a 3-point shooting league.
I'm going to tell you one thing he haven't done. He haven't won the Finals MVP.
Okay. So?
Well, Whitlock, look, I do want to drill down one thing because I saw you draw the parallels and the comparisons. Great, and it makes sense. It maps conveniently. Right. But are you really going to go down and say that? Because you didn't say how LeBron's legacy will continue. You said if Steph continues, we have to also imagine what LeBron can do. You're going to say that Steph Curry will have a greater legacy than LeBron James. I just want to hear that simple.
If this continues and they get to a 5th or 6th title, I don't think LeBron's winning any more titles, particularly if he stays here in Los Angeles with the Lakers.
So great success for Steph continued and doomsday for LeBron.
Not doomsday, just not titles.
Okay.
Again, they may make I just don't think they're winning any more titles here with LeBron.
I think KD leaves Golden State. I think the West is wide open next year.
KD has left Golden State and they just swept Portland. And if you think when KD leaves, there won't be some, I'm not saying great players like KD, but there's going to be, let me get over here to Golden State and help them. That's going to create an opportunity, and trust me, Golden State will have their pick, not of superstars, but of there's going to be some 30, 29-year-old out there who can really play, who's going to go fill in that piece. And they're going to be a title contender continuing forward.
Healthy Boogie. That could still be it.
They don't have the money to pay.
Well, I mean, one of the things that you're seeing is the division within this league, which we're talking about here. It's the analytics, which is Steph Curry. Steph Curry, now we are a three-point shooting league, and the three-point shot is here. And then we have this other way of thought. This is basketball, the purest. You know, we play the game and slow down. And in the playoffs, the game more resembles that style of play. The one thing
It does?
yes, because when you watch the game and how it's played, especially in the playoffs, you got to get the best shot that you can possibly get. The most uncontested shots that you can get during the course of the game. And that's the value of watching the Warriors. The Warriors are a very unique team from this standpoint.
Right.
When Draymond Green rebounds the ball, their offense starts. They're the only team in the league that no team has been able to take that away from them, because when Draymond rebounds the ball, he is as good of a decision maker as any point guard in transition. So Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant, they don't have the burden of saying they have to do other things like initiate an offense or run the team. Draymond gets the ball and pushes it out, and they're getting uncontested shots, whether it's a layup, whether it's a three, because Draymond allows them to play a way that no other team in the league can play. And that's what makes them a very difficult team, is because no one can contest them on a consistent basis the way they play.
But, BJ, I think you're right. There is a war going on, analytics versus what I consider like old school superstar ball.
Yes.
And this is what I like about, or where I think Steph is winning. I think the league is all leaning into system and play an offensive system that fits everybody on the court. That's what Steph and them do, as opposed to superstar at the top of the key playing iso ball and making all the decisions. That's what LeBron, D-Wade, Kevin Durant falls into that a little bit. James Harden, they fall into that. I think the league, if you look at the Lakers doubling down like, hey, man, I know you want us to hire Tyronn Lue, but we're going the way of the rest of the league. We're going to hire a coach and try to establish a system. I see that again, and we're not going to have this conversation now, but this is why a lot of these former players can't get head coaching jobs right now. They're going with guys out of the film room, the system guys, the analytic guys as coaches. Steph and Golden State are driving that.
And see, but the thing I have with that problem of the analytic guys is that, you watch Steph and you watch Golden State, and everybody try to mimic Golden State, right? So everybody want to say, oh, I want to build a team like Golden State.
Yeah.
But you don't have the personnel like Golden State. So the analytics in some way is fool's gold in the source, because if you don't have the personnel to play the way that Golden State is, then that goes out the window. Because for the simple fact that they say, oh, well, Golden State, they don't like shooting mid-range shots. No, that's bull crap. Klay Thompson take a lot of mid-range shots.
They all do.
And so Houston falls into it, and what they do, they look horrible. You watch Eric Gordon, who I played with, who's been a great player. You watch him have to take 36-foot threes, because this is what they're teaching. Oh, the analytics say, oh, we gonna take threes or drive all the way to the basket. I watched Steph. When Steph struggled a little bit, he may miss a couple threes. He'll step in and pull in a little free throw line, Jay. There's nothing wrong with it.
To your